What's up, Brigade? How are you? Welcome into a Wednesday's episode of the Bostonian versus the Book. I'm Matt Peralta. We're live on YouTube and on X, Twitter, replay on Sports Grid television, audio podcasts, wherever you guys get your audio podcasts. Welcome to a Wednesday after being off on yesterday's program. Thank you for being back, Brigade. And clearly, I'm not in Nevada. I'm not in Las Vegas, and I am currently in New Hampshire. We've sort of had to put this thing whole together today because of I forgot the camera. So I have a camera I have to go pick up from Best Buy, free plug for Best Buy, coming up after the show is over today. So I realized this morning, normally I do the Daily Juice podcast, normally with just the computer. And I was so out of it that I use a different camera for BVB because the Sports Grid replay, we need to have a better camera. So I use a better camera than just my computer camera. So I wound up freaking out this morning and realizing that the only place, the closest Best Buy that has the camera that I wanted to upgrade to anyway, because I was buying a new camera. If you guys remember, Newbie's camera is the one I'm buying because Newbie's camera is awesome. So I'm upgrading to that camera, but I was just putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. And then I wound up waking up this morning and realizing, oh no, I forgot the camera. So if I look a little fuzzy, if I look a little different than normal, I'm glad it doesn't look terrible, Sonic. Thank you. Yeah, I've had to go and buy that. So once we're done here today for BVB, I will head down to a town called Salem, New Hampshire, which is about half an hour away from where I am in Manchester at Amanda's, and I to go get the camera. So the camera tomorrow will be better. This setup will look a little different tomorrow, although I kind of like the setup. I don't know. You guys tell me how you like the setup, but I kind of like it up here from here. So, no, Adam did not invite me to his private space station in Mikey. No, this is still just me. But it looks that way today. So yeah, I mean, yes, good Best Buy in Salem, Deuce Daily. Yeah. So that's where the camera currently is there. So this is the backdrop we used all summer when I was downstairs in the basement, but it's like 45 degrees here. So I have no idea how did I grow up here? I don't understand how I grew up here. It's one of the funniest things whenever I come back here. I'm always like, it's 40 degrees and it's October. It's cold. Like, it's really cold. So when you're in a basement downstairs, either I hook up a space heater, which I don't really want to do, or I come up here and I'm currently, upstairs in one of the bedrooms. So that's where it is. Oh, goodness gracious, I forgot my phone's right there. Thank you. Let's move my phone. Thank you for that, Zach. Zach's like, hey, is that your phone? Yeah, that's my phone. Sorry. There we go. You hate the heat? Okay, if you hate the heat, Cole, I'll give it to you. My daughter has been asking for pictures forever. Like, my daughter's been saying to me, like, I need fall pictures. And the foliage is gorgeous. Like, Amanda's backyard is gorgeous with all sorts of really beautiful reds and oranges and yellows, and we don't get that in Vegas. Like, in Vegas, it's brown. Everything is sand colored. It's very monotone. There's occasional green, but that's about it. So it is good to get back to my roots on that, and it feels like Halloween. I told my daughter last night, I was like, it's funny. It feels like Halloween in Vegas. It doesn't really feel like Halloween. It feels like extended summer because it's like 85 degrees. So I got here last night and I was like, okay, this is what Halloween feels like. It's cold, it's damp, it's dark, and the Halloween decorations definitely pop a lot more in New England than they do in Vegas. It's just a fact. So it's good to be here. So I'll be here for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Adam Bjorn will join us tomorrow, so it'll be a Betcris Arizona Thursday, not a Wednesday. So we're here today. We've got a lot of NFL stuff to get into. We'll look at Evan Abrams' Week 9 NFL primer. A lot of interesting stats and trends we can talk about from a betting perspective. Tomorrow night, we've got, obviously, a game with the Ravens trying to turn around their entire season. Lamar Jackson appears good to go for tomorrow night against Miami. For the Baltimore Ravens, we had Game 4 last night of the World Series, but because it is a Wednesday, and yes, this is that is my computer camera. Yes, this is a computer camera. That's why it doesn't look as crisp as it's supposed to. Tomorrow we'll be back. Tomorrow we'll fix the camera, but this is not our normal camera today because, well, I forgot the camera. Unfortunately, it's a me mess up. It's a Matt mistake for today. But the show, we can do the show and we can get it on, and it'll look okay. It just won't look as good as it will look coming up for tomorrow. But let's talk about power rankings. I love doing this every week. My top 5 teams in the NFL ranked 5-1. Let's get into it during the opening line. Opening line as we roll through my top 5 NFL teams going into week number 9. And I love to kind of compare this to what other entities do. Yahoo Sports comes out with their top 32. So their top 4 that they put out yesterday, or this morning, I should say, they have Eagles 4, Colts 3, Lions 2, and the Chiefs at number 1. I don't have an order that is similar to that for my own top 5. And look, I understand why people think the Chiefs are the best team in football again because of what's happened, but I still think that 5-3 record has to come into play. Okay. And they are still going to be pushed by teams in their division. The Broncos are still alive. The Chargers are still alive. And so I have a hard time saying the Chiefs are the best team in football. I know they have Patrick Mahomes, and I know they now have a very good receiving core, and their offense is now starting to really take a big step forward. But they've got some very difficult games still to play in their schedule. And we'll see how they play. We'll see what they look like. I mean, you lose 3 games. They've won, obviously, 5 of 6. So they're starting to really pick it up and put it down from a win perspective. But I don't have the Chiefs number 1. So for number 5, I have the Eagles coming in at number 5. They're 5-1 in the NFC. That's a really big number, I think, going forward. If you're an Eagles fan looking at potential tiebreakers and potentially being the 1 seed in the NFC, having that 5-1 record is big. They're 6-2 overall, though. So, and to me, one big concern has to be the running game as the weather turns in Philadelphia. You have a running back in Saquon Barkley who was so dominant last year and had such a great season. I have a difficult time looking at that run game and saying 4.1 yards per carry. It's still a top 15 rushing offense in the NFL, but it's nowhere near what it could be or should be. And as their offensive line gets healthy, you saw what happened against the Giants last week. They had their offensive line, and thus Saquon Barkley had gigantic holes to run through, and he dominated the Giants and ran all over them. Is that a sign of things to come? Maybe. Or is that just, place and circumstance, right? Former team, he always gets up for it. The Giants' run defense is a little bit suspect at times, and you have an Eagles team with a motivated Saquon Barkley. Does that happen week in and week out? We'll see. We'll see how it progresses. But Eagles are a top 5 team. I'm not disrespecting them, I don't think, by putting them at 5, but I have them at 5. I have the Rams at 4, and a big reason is that Puka Nacua is fine. I mean, Puka's fine. He's going to play on Sunday against the Saints. They're massive favorites. If you have the Rams available in Survivor, this will be top 3, if not top 2, Survivor pick coming up for today, or for this week, rather. The Rams are off of a bye. Sean McVay is coaching a team that I think with Matthew Stafford is going to be a formidable out. And that's where that record for the Eagles comes in, that 6-1 record, but that 6-2 record with a 5-1 record against the NFC. Big here, because the tiebreak, we saw it last year when the Rams had to go to Philadelphia to play the Eagles. They couldn't do anything in the weather. So this is a Rams team that very much needs to have the number 1 seed, or at least, a 1 home game. They need to win the division. Now, will they win the West? We'll see what the Niners look like. Okay. The Niners are still going to have the inside trek. And if they get healthy, and Brock Purdy coming back this week and whatnot, I mean, the Niners are still going to be a difficult team for the Rams to deal with in the NFC West. So, but they need to win the division, and they need to be able to have a home game, if not multiple home games. If they do, they can beat anybody and make it all the way to the Super Bowl. And frankly, if you're a Rams fan, you're playing the Super Bowl in your home state. Now it's 6 hours to the north, but you're still playing in your home state. So I think that's a huge thing to take a look at for the LA Rams, is that they can, if they had the 1 seed, they could play the entire postseason in the state of California, which is huge for McVay and company, huge for Matthew Stafford. Number 3 for my top 5 teams in the NFL going into week number 9, I have the Lions at 3. They're 6-2. They have a top 5 rush defense, and they are top 10 in sacks. And I think their offense can even play better than it has. And one thing about the Lions is that they were known for their toughness and their offensive line being so good, I think they will continue to perform. What's interesting is just from a stats perspective, their offense is nothing that really jumps off the page. It's not like, oh my gosh, look at the Lions offense, but it's their defense that I think that has been so good this year. It's their defense that has really turned the corner. And I think there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be paying attention to the Lions going forward here. And yeah, I'm one of the few people, Tyrone, that I'm really high on the Rams. I think a lot of people are down on the Rams still. I'm just against it. I don't believe that that's there. I do think that that's a team that can make a lot of noise in the postseason. And, yeah, JPC, our resident Lions fan, saying the OC is still finding his footing. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. I still think the Lions are, the Lions are number 3, okay? They're a top 3 team in the NFL with their defense being dominant. You can't run on them, okay? And if you go back to pass, you got to watch out. They just gave Hutchinson a gigantic contract extension, was $180 million. They gave Hutchinson this morning. So they've locked him down even after the ankle injury that he suffered, that horrific leg injury he suffered last year. The team is investing in him and locking him down long-term. He's been an absolute tour de force coming out of Michigan, playing in Detroit. And look, the Lions are still, I feel like while everyone's gotten so caught up with the Chiefs, they have forgotten about the Lions a little bit. I think that they've forgotten just how good this team potentially can be with their 2 running backs, with their wide receivers, with Jared Goff, and with their head coach. I still am very high on the Lions. I'm not sure how you could not be high on the Lions given the way that they have performed. And I don't think I'm disrespecting Kansas City by putting them number 2 because they're 5-3. They have won 5 out of 6. They are tied for the number 1 passing offense in terms of thrown touchdowns. They are dominant at the moment, throwing the football again with Patrick Mahomes and these weapons that they have to throw to. Travis Kelce is now back to being Travis Kelce because he's mostly, one-on-one up against these linebackers. And Kelce, for the most part, kills linebackers. When they put, safeties on him, he can be shut down. But linebackers, he really goes to school and eats them up and really makes it difficult for opposing defenses. So I have the Chiefs number 2. So number 5, it's Eagles. Number 4, the Rams. Number 3, the Lions. Number 2, the Chiefs. Now, again, I have a disagreement here because if you go and look at where the Colts are, number 3, Yahoo Sports got it. And I'm not arguing with Frank Schwab. I don't think Frank Schwab is dead wrong by putting the Colts at number 3. I just have the Colts at number 1. The Colts are 7-1. Until things go bad, they're the top team. They have 18 rushing touchdowns. Here are some crazy stats to give you guys for the Indianapolis Colts and why I think they're the number 1 team in football. 1, 18 rushing touchdowns. The next closest team has 13 rushing touchdowns. They have 18 rushing touchdowns. Daniel Jones has played so well, but it has not just been Daniel Jones. How about this? The Colts have scored 270 points this season. That is a plus 116 point differential through 8 games in the NFL. Since 1970, since the merger, here are the quarterbacks to accomplish that feat. Daniel Jones, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, and John Elway. Which one of these things do not belong? Okay? It is ridiculous. Ridiculous right now. The Colts, if they win this week, and they should win this week, but if they win this week, they will just be the 9th team since divisional realignment in 2002 to eclipse their win total before week 10, and just the 2nd team to eclipse a win total of 7.5 or more before week 10. The Chiefs did it in 2013. Now, I'm not saying that the Colts are going to be the next KC Chiefs, but you look at what Shane Steichen has done, and Shane Steichen is trying to keep his team focused on what's important. And what's important to Shane Steichen is the rest of the season. He's saying that the season starts in November and December. Do you know who used to say that? That comment is not Shane Steichen's. That comment is Bill Belichick. That's what Bill Belichick used to say publicly to everyone who used to get gaga in New England about the Patriots starting up 7-1 or 7-2, whatever it might be. Belichick would come in and say, I don't really care about September and October. I care about November and December, and frankly, we play for January. The Colts can't really say that we play for January, just given their track record and their history. They haven't really done all that much in the postseason recently. But I think if you look at what's happening in the future for this team, yes, November and December. And this is what everyone is thinking. Philly, Vegas, 3-7. When does Jones revert to his usual self? I don't know when or if he does. I'm not sure that Daniel Jones will do what everyone is saying. Danny Dimes will eventually turn into a pumpkin. Will he? I don't know. I'm not sure. And look, this is now the knock everyone's saying as well about the Colts. They have only beaten bad teams except for the Chargers. I don't know. Again, I just gave you the stats about what they're doing to teams. I mean, this is not just with bad teams. They're killing people. A plus 116 point differential through 8 games, 270 points that they have scored. You could say it's bad teams, but aren't you supposed to destroy bad teams? When you're a good team, aren't you supposed to do that? Aren't you supposed to take them and just beat their doors off? So I have a hard time just going and dismissing the Colts. They're 7-1. I think we're all looking for reasons to poke holes in this team. And we're all looking to go, it's the Colts. It's the Colts. This is, Eric, I disagree with you too. Colts buffoonery will end this coming Sunday. Why? Why are we all so just automatically assuming that this Colts team is a fraud? I can't. I'm a Patriot fan. I hate the Colts, but I'm just not one to go in here and say that, okay, this is all going to end. I mean, if you want to talk about frauds, the Steelers are a fraud. The Colts aren't frauds. The Steelers are a fraud. I mean, that's if you're going to talk about what team on the field coming up here at Heinz or whatever they call it now, field, which team is the fraud? That's the not the Colts, not the team wearing, with the horseshoe on their helmet. It's the Steelers. So I don't know. No one's beating the Chiefs in the AFC. I disagree with that too. I don't think that that's true. I don't think no one is beating Kansas City. No, I think KC is very beatable. Absolutely. KC is beatable. They're good, but hard to see them winning more than one game in the playoffs. Well, Gorov, where's that playoff game being played? If it's being played in Indianapolis, that's not an easy place to go in there and play. Okay. That's a really hard place to play. If they're the 1 seed and you got to go through Indianapolis to beat the Colts, I don't know. I mean, here's the thing, right? What was always the knock on the Patriots, and now it's the knock on the Chiefs, right? Can they win road playoff games? Well, the Chiefs still have to answer that question, except for Buffalo. Like, they can go to Buffalo and win, but can they go anywhere else and win, right? Patriots were the 1 and the 2 seed. Every time they won the Super Bowl, they were the 1 and the 2 seed. Okay. So then now you have to go into it and, I disagree, Chef Benny. Indy's not a hard place to play. Disagree with that. I don't know how much you've gone there. That place is loud. That's a loud. That's a loud building. That's a loud building. I wouldn't call that place an easy place to play by any means. That's a loud place. Eric was asking. Oh, there we go. Excuse me. Behind Kyle Duggar's, besides the Kyle Duggar's contract, can you fill me in what type of player he is? He's a really good player. I mean, Kyle Duggar just got a contract from the previous regime that did not fit with the number of snaps he was going to get for the Patriots. I don't know why the Steelers think that the 2024 Patriot defense was good, but the 2 starting safeties for the 2024 Patriots are now on the Steelers. So, I don't know. Pittsburgh thought that team was good. Tomlin thought that team was worth playing. So, I don't know. Julius Peppers and Kyle Duggar are both now playing for the Steelers. It fits their style. It fits but the Patriots defense last year sucked. So I don't know how excited I would be about Kyle Duggar coming over. The Patriots are going to make a move for a defensive player. We just don't know which one. There's all sorts of rumors flying around about which Patriot, what's the target for the Patriots, but I'll be curious. I'll be curious. Yes, Yorkie, you're absolutely right. It's anyone's Super Bowl to win. And I think that's probably the best way of taking this, in terms of, if you look at my top 5, okay? So 5 being the Eagles, defending champions, 4 being the Rams, a team that's won it in the last decade, number 3 being a Lions team that is desperate in one of the fan favorites, NFL team favorites, number 2 being the Chiefs and what they have done from a dynasty perspective, and number 1 being the Colts. I think it is obvious that it is anyone's game. It is anyone's game. Is that done? Shaheen to the Patriots? Oh boy. If that's done, send me that report if you could, because I would like to talk. Is there breaking news involving the Patriots? And I think that there's as I said, I think there's going to be a pretty big trade at some point for New England because they've been clearing out cap like crazy. So everyone's been going, okay, they made 2 trades yesterday. There's a lot of thought that there's going to be a move of some sort for the Patriots defense. So if that's the case, send that to me and let me know. Is that there? Okay, not yet. Okay, so it's not official. Yeah, tell me if it's new. If it's news, if it is a breaking news time, we'll play the breaking news stinger. Absolutely. If we have breaking news, but I do think there's going to be a move for the Patriots defensively. I think the Pats are going to go at a defender of some sort, either a linebacker or an edge rusher. There's all sorts of rumors. Max Crosby was a rumor yesterday. The Patriots were targeting him. There was a rumor that the Patriots are going to be targeting a couple different pass rushers to come in and try to bulk up the Patriots pass rushing. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes over the next until the 4th of November. That's when we get into it for the NFL trade deadline. So a lot of moves still to be had. I think the NFL trade deadline is getting more and more interesting each and every year. Let's talk about what happened last night. All right, what happened last night in the World Series? Blue Jays evened up the World Series at 2 games apiece with a big 6-2 win. Look, Shohei Ohtani was exhausted. I'm not going to excuse the performance from Shohei because he was exhausted, because everybody was exhausted. But you could clearly see that Shohei was laboring through that start, and Shohei wound up going into the 7th inning. He got 18 outs, and then he got lit up in the 7th inning, but gave up that 2-run home run to Vlad Jr., and now we have a Blue Jays team coming into the game tonight with just a lot of momentum and a lot of belief that if they can win the game tonight, they're heading back to Toronto. I really don't like the 2-3-2 model like that. That really, there's a couple things that baseball needs to get rid of. The 2-3-2 model in the World Series stinks. I really don't like it. It should be 2-2-3, 2-2-1-1-1. That's how we should do it. But when you have a World Series like we have right now with Toronto and with LA, you're going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So you're flying around a lot. But I hate the 2-3-2 model. I think it stinks. I think it's really unfair. To be completely honest, I think it's somewhat unfair for the team that has home field because, if you split in game 1 and game 2, which is what happens, you're going back to LA where you might not come back. And you have home field. So you lose home field and all of a sudden you don't know if you're coming back or not. So I don't like that. The 2-2-1-1-1 model leads for longer series. But yes, Rainmaker, it has been absolutely fantastic. World Series has been fantastic. It's been must see. Even last night, it was a little bit boring. I mean, I thought the game was a little bit boring, except that Shohei was just in trouble. Like you kept on waiting for something to happen. And I think if you are a Blue Jay fan, you are looking at tonight as a must win. Like you don't want to be going home and you're down 3-2. And if you're the Dodgers, you just need a split. You win the World Series with a split. So that would concern me a lot if I were the Blue Jays. If they win tonight, they're going home. Then they know they need just one win and they win the World Series. So this is just a massive, massive hinge game coming up here for tonight between these two. And look, big favorites. Blake Snell goes to the mound tonight. $2 favorites for the Dodgers, rightfully so. Blake Snell was not good in game 1. And frankly, it was because of what happened in the first inning to Blake Snell, where he threw nearly 30 pitches and the Blue Jays got into that bullpen, much like last night. Like that was a tight baseball game until they got into the bullpen. So getting into the bullpen is the absolute key. I have no idea how people on the East Coast, how are you guys sports fans? I mean, how did I grow up a sports fan? I know I say it every single time, and it's kind of a broken record, but I'm in my Uber last night, okay? So I land at 6:45 Eastern, okay? So I took off at 10:30 in the morning Pacific time. I land at 6:40 Eastern time. So I'm in the Uber at about 7:15, okay? So I'm in my Uber. I'm heading up here from Boston. I'm heading up to New Hampshire. And so I go to watch the World Series game. I go and open up my phone. I go to YouTube TV and I'm like, okay, let's go watch the World Series. The World Series game didn't start till 8:10 last night. Eastern, 8:10. I'm going, hold on a second. How is this? I mean, it's great for the folks in Los Angeles. It's a 5:00 start in LA. It's awesome. It is ridiculous to think that in Toronto, it's 8:00 and your game hasn't started yet. Your game hasn't even started. You haven't even seen the first pitch yet. I don't know. I'm not sure how you guys do it. I'm not sure how I did it. Staying up. I mean, the 18-inning game was till 2:00 in the morning, like you guys said. You know, it's just brutal. Eric, well, welcome to the East Coast, my friend, where you fly into major airports and drive around. Yes, there's a Manchester airport, but Vegas to Manchester doesn't exist. There is no direct flight from Vegas to Manchester, New Hampshire. So, I mean, technically, I could come over here and do that. Yes, but no. Was it a pricey Uber? Yeah, it's a pricey Uber, but it's fine. It's not a big deal. It's easy. It's easier just to get into an Uber and get up here than to have Amanda come down. And normally she does, but last night just didn't make any sense because it's a school night and everything else going on up here. So just jump in the Uber and head on up. I when I'm traveling, I love Ubers, like whether it be overseas or whether it be here. I don't like taxis. I don't like taxis in Vegas. I very much prefer to take Lyft or Ubers, on that. So I would Uber a plane in 2 seconds, Mikey. If I could Uber a plane, I guess technically that's what what was that called? What's that? It's not Jet Suite X kind of markets themselves like that, but there's another company. What's the company? Oh, Wheels Up. That's the company. Wheels Up is that. That's basically Ubering a plane. Just go ahead and do that. No, I did not leave my remote broadcast gear in the trunk of the Uber. No, I did leave. The last time I rode an Uber, I did leave my Apple iPod Maxes or AirPod Maxes in the back of the Uber. I did do that. That sucked. You lose a $500 pair of headphones by it was a gift. That was a gift from Amanda. I left that in the back of the Uber like an idiot. I was so pissed off. I called the guy like 20 minutes after he drove away, and he answered the phone and then hung up on me. And I was like, oh, okay, so you're going to pocket those headphones. Okay. I'll see how that is. I was so pissed. And it's always funny whenever like you realize they have like these like helplines for Uber, and they have like this, did you leave something in the trunk thing? Like I did all of that. I called them. I called him. I wrote the email. I did all that. Yep. Get out of here. See you later. Bye-bye. Zip, zero, nothing. I got nothing. So yeah. So that guy got a nice $500 pair of headphones out of me because I left it in the backseat of the Uber. So I will never do that again. That was a lesson learned. I was so pissed off at myself for doing that, in particular because it was, did he answer on the headphones? He may have, who knows? He may have answered the phone on the headphones. He very well could have. But like, I was like, I left my headphones in the back of your car. And he's like, what? I was like, I left my headphones in the back of your car. Click. And I was like, oh, brutal. How long was the Uber? The Uber ride was, Merry Christmas is right, Butchie. It was about, I don't know, 50 minutes. 55 minutes, something like that. So I did not screenshot where my device was. I did not do that. I didn't file a police report either. Was I supposed to? It's a pair of headphones. I filed a police report for a pair of headphones? I haven't done that. But yeah, there's zero regulation for that kind of thing. Yeah, there's none. There has it says ultimately in the fine print, it literally says you are ultimately responsible for taking all of your belongings with you. If you forget something in the back of the Uber, it is your responsibility. You are the one to blame for doing this. So nobody stole it. You just left it. And then once you leave the Uber, you then forfeit anything that is in the back seat of that Uber. You should look into this. I did this. I looked at all the I looked at all the different things on this to see, okay, what are my, what could I actually do to get the headphones back? Nothing. Like, if the guy doesn't want to bring them back to you, you're SOL. And I don't think you can file a police report. I mean, I guess you could, but like, who's to say he can just say, I don't know what you're talking about? Like, I didn't find anything in the backseat of the car. I mean, you left it there, but I don't know. Like, I picked somebody up 5 minutes after you got there. So again, I called him, I called Uber, and I emailed Uber all within like 15 minutes of me walking out of that Uber, realizing that the headphones were in the backseat of the car. And it was all like zero, see you later, nothing. You can ask for it back, but okay, we put the squeeze on him. Yeah. If multiple people do it, yeah, I don't know. It says in the fine print. It literally says in the fine print of Uber that if you don't get your stuff, if you leave your stuff in the back seat, see you later. And look, I tend to, I call it an Uber, kind of like Kleenex. I tend to use Lyft a lot. Last night was a Lyft. Last night wasn't an Uber. I always find that I save money with Lyft over Uber. Lyft is cheaper. So I think I saved. I think the Uber last night was 30, or the ride share was $35 cheaper with Lyft than it was with Uber. So, but that's my last horror experience in the back of an Uber, being just like, son of a. In the NBA, everybody's talking about what happened to Giannis last night. And according to a guy who I listen to a lot, a podcaster, Jonathan Corrales in Boston, John is citing a rule that I did not know existed in the NFL, in the NBA. So I'm going to ask you guys in the chat, did you guys know that this was a rule in the NBA? So the Giannis travel from last night is unbelievable. Giannis took 6 steps on his way to the basket. Like, legitimately 6 steps. You could even say maybe you say 5, but he took at least 5, maybe 6, depending on when that last dribble came out of his hands. So John writes on Twitter last night, the NBA rule is that players can continue to take steps as the ball is spinning in their hands because the dribble has not yet been discontinued. This gather, in this case, comes when the left hand touches the ball and the left foot is on the floor. He takes 2 steps after that, thus making the drive legal. You can take steps as long as the ball is spinning in your hand in the NBA. Does that at all jive with what you thought happens in the NBA? So let's play this out. I'm dribbling the basketball, okay? I'm dribbling the ball, and the ball is spinning in my hands. I can't carry with it because if my hand goes underneath the ball, now I'm carrying the basketball. That's illegal. So you can't do that. Okay. So you can bounce the ball, and as long as the basketball is spinning in your hand, you then can take as many steps as possible. Why hasn't someone tried to perfect that? If that's a rule, and John knows a lot about basketball. He's been covering the Celtics for many, many years. And I am efforting trying to figure out, how is a spinning basketball having anything to do with the number of steps that you are taking? It is one of the craziest things that I watched, because it's everywhere, that Giannis walked all the way. Look at Giannis walked across the state of Wisconsin without a travel call, because it does look funky. It does look ridiculous. I can't play you the actual video of it, but it does look ridiculous. If you just Google it on anywhere, it's right there. Bad Sports Refs is the Twitter handle that tweeted this. John says, absolutely no, that's actually it's a legal play. What he did was legal, because as the ball is spinning in Giannis's hands, he's able to take as many steps as possible. I can't figure this out. Like, I'm 48 years old. I have been watching NBA basketball since I was like 7 years old. Like, I don't understand how a spinning basketball. Oh, Roger Long says it's considered a loose ball, but in the hand when it's spinning, I don't know. Like, Oh, that's an interesting point, Eric. Can you spin the ball on your finger and then walk and say, hey, the ball's spinning, so it's in my hand. Am I able to just walk around while the ball? That's a great question. That's a really good question. I've never heard of this. I've never heard anyone say that this play is a legal basketball play. Like you could say, well, the referees just took a blind look at it and just ignored it. Like the refs should have called it, but they didn't do that. This is not just saying that the play is okay. It's legal. It has legal justification. Like it's actually a play in the NBA in the rule book that you are the Globetrotters do it all the time. Okay. Yeah. I just don't understand how that's not traveling, how the ball is considered not in play. It's not a gather. It's an actual dribble, but as long as the ball is spinning in your hand, you can take 100 steps and it's not a travel. I don't understand. I don't get. It's not a beautiful play, Eric. That is not a beautiful play. Players do that for hitting the crossover, but hitting a crossover is different. You're not tapping your feet, Eric. You're not going like, doing a whole like foot fire thing while you're doing a crossover. It's not what you're doing. Okay. So the ball is spinning in your hand. And as you cross somebody over and to take a step, well, you have a pivot foot. Okay. So if you catch the ball, you establish a pivot foot and you swing the ball through and then you cross it over. Okay. I'll give it to you. You cross that play over, you get the ball in your hands. I'm not running the way Giannis did. Giannis is dribbling the basketball down the floor. Okay. He takes a dribble. The ball is spinning his hands. He takes 1, 2, 3 steps. Then he gathers, catches the ball, 1, 2 layup. Okay. That's what happened. Okay. That's what he did. So that's the problem I think everybody has, is that he took 3 steps after the dribble, after he dribbled the ball. And yes, the ball is spinning in his hands. It's an accurate comment to say the ball is spinning in his hands as he takes 3 steps. Then he catches the ball, which would be the gather, 1, 2 layup. Okay. I don't understand. I just don't understand that rule in the NBA. I'm 48. I've been watching the game for a long time, and I can't, everybody was complaining about it. Everyone was yelling about it, and we're not just going to sit there and yell about it. We're saying it's justified. We're saying this is not a travel, that your eyes are deceiving you. The math isn't mathing. Yep. It's just, you're like, he took 5 steps after he dribbled. Like, you can't tell me he didn't take 5 steps after the ball hit the ground, because it did. From the time that Giannis took the dribble, from the time that Giannis got there to the time when Giannis went and scored the basketball, Giannis took 5 steps. You could even count 6. You want to go really semantic, you might be able to count 6 steps that he took from that. So huh? What? This is really this is what's going on right now. So it's a very strange thing. It's a very strange thing that the NBA, and again, I had no idea that was actually the case. That was a legal play, or at least could be justified as a legal play. But that's traveling. That's traveling. Okay, I'm sorry, that's traveling. Walks like a duck and talks like a duck. That thing's a duck. That thing is a travel. The NHL last night, frozen frenzy, as they call it. All 16 teams, 16 games, all 32 teams in action last night, and we had some crazy ones. The Bruins went down 2-0. First period over hit in that game. Heck, first period over hit like in every game. But you had 5 unanswered goals from the Boston Bruins. The Vegas Golden Knights win 6-3 in their game. The Avalanche beat the Devils 8-4. The Blackhawks scored 7 goals against the Senators. The Oilers scored 6 and beat the Mammoth 6-3 last night. This was crazy. There were goals on goals on goals last night. If you bet an under, well, I hope it was the Capitals in the Stars game, because there weren't many unders yesterday. Penguins and the Flyers, that game was 1-1 after the first period, yet that game stayed under, which makes absolutely no sense. That's a 12-4 mark, as Rainmaker points out. 12-4 last night to the overs last night in the NHL. I mean, books taking a beating again is a great point. Yes. As everyone came in and bet overs, I bet a first period over. That's all that I bet with the Bruins. And I bet a gift with the Bruins. And I bet a first period over with Toronto. No. Sorry, with Tampa Bay. That game, where'd that game finish? That was what? I actually didn't see it. I stopped watching it after the first period. That was where's Tampa on that board? Oh, there it is. 5-2. Of course, the game went over. So it's a 5-2. I bet a gift in that game. They scored a goal with 10 minutes and 30 seconds gone by. So I was off by 30 seconds for a gift in that game. But they were gifts and they were first period overs all over the place last night. If you were a hockey fan and you were watching the NHL last night, it was awesome. Like I'll give the league some credit. I mean, I think that this is a fun thing. The second time this year they've done this. And last night, they should do it on an off night for the World Series. Like they should be able to kind of see when the World Series is, and they should play it where it's not up against a major final. Because I think more people, it wasn't up against NFL football, so that's good. It's on Tuesday, so it's not up against Monday Night Football, but you're up against the World Series, which I guess if you're going to pick your poison, you'd rather be up against the World Series than you would be against Monday Night Football. But that kind of stunk that there was that much hockey going on, and yet you still had Game 4, a gigantically important, pivotal Game 4 of the World Series, and so all the attention was not on the NHL last night for hockey. But that was a lot of fun. I mean, if you were watching that was cool. Yeah, that was very, very cool. Yorkie says NHL is the coolest game on earth. What an awesome night! It was an awesome night. It was a really fun night. And yes, death taxes and first period overs for the Bruins and the VK. Look, Bruins gifts and Bruins first period overs from here on out. Okay, just blindly for a while. The Bruins, it's ridiculous. They're scoring a ton and they're giving up a ton. Bruins are now 9-2 to a gift here this season. And I think it's the same mark in a first period over. They're 9-2 as well. 9-2 to a first period over. So if you are going to look, and then the Vegas Golden Knights first period over trend has been going on for 6 years. Like that, it's just been a thing for 6 years that Vegas first period over has been an absolute thing. They're not always on the gift, the goal in the first 10 minutes. That's not as consistent with the Golden Knights, but 100% goal in the first 10 minutes. Gifts are great for the Vegas Golden Knights. Goal in the first 5, Jimmy, is called a GIF. GIFF. Addison's the one that coined all these things. We tip the cap to Addison for all of our hockey language for our betting, but gifts, goal in the first 5. What does he call it? Christmas, right? Goal in the first 5 and a goal in the first 10. Bet them both. If you have a goal in the first 5, you get a goal in the first 10. That's called Christmas. I think that's what Addison calls it, which I think is awesome. I think Addison had to run, but he was in the chat earlier. Oh, it's a Santa Claus. Okay. It's a Santa. Thank you. Appreciate that, guys. Look at that. You guys all know. Everyone knows Santas. Okay. So that's called a Santa. Sorry, not Christmas. Same thing, kind of, but Santas. It's tremendous. NHL is a crazy sport to bet on, Chris, but it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to bet on the NHL. If you haven't done it, it's a lot of fun to bet on it. And it's a lot of interesting. No, Addison, your ears are burning. I was just saying, goal in the first 5 minutes gives you goal in the first 10 minutes. So when you hit both bets, I was calling it Christmas, but the chat corrected me. The brigade said, no, you call it Santa. So that we just want to give you proper credit for your coining of the phrases for betting on hockey after like what happened last night. Because look, baseball is almost gone, right? So, baseball is going to be out of here in the next, 4 days, 5 days. So it's all going to be baseball and basketball and then football going in. But it's just, you have to get in on these trends early. The one thing about doing the Daily Juice that I have found a lot of success in is getting in early on these sports like we did with the Brewers, right? If you can get in early on the trend and you just ride it, it could be, why did I have a good year in betting baseball? I had a good year betting baseball because of the Milwaukee Brewers. That's why. Because the Brewers and look, Quinn Priester was ridiculous. It was just every fifth day, bet the Brewers, bet the Brewers, bet the Brewers over and over and over again, right? They got red hot. They had 2 11-plus game winning streaks. We were betting them and betting them and betting them. And so we just did really well. The same thing can be done here early with hockey, looking at the Boston Bruins, looking at the Vegas Golden Knights, and looking at others let me see the other trends you guys can look at here for right now. Now, this is just going into it, but like Vegas and Boston are Vegas, the Islanders, and the Bruins. The Bruins played the Islanders last night, so no shock that game was 5-2 and went over. But the Bruins, 9 of 11, go in the first 10 minutes. The Bruins are now 8 of 11 for first period overs. The Golden Knights are now 8 of 10 first period overs. That's 80%, right? So like those trends will wear off. But the same way you look at like the Rangers, where some of their numbers are really down. You look at the Florida Panthers, they are 2 and 10 to a first period over. Let's see, did their game go over last night? They played last night. Hold on. What did the Florida Panthers do last night? Defending champs. Hold on. Where are there they are. Let's see. Their game, first period went under. Okay, so again, so they're 2 for 11. So 2 and 11. So you want to bet the other way? First period unders? Florida Panthers, first period unders. You just ride these. When you're betting them and betting baseball, you just ride these trends, both unders and overs. And Chris Otto, who often is in the chat, who we follow his stuff. You guys don't follow him at PSU Auto, OTTO, not AUTO. People confuse that. No A. PSU, Penn State University, Auto, OTTO. Okay, at PSU Auto on X Twitter. His spreadsheet is like, it's sitting right there. It's trend betting. And I'm not saying you're going to win every day. I'm not saying it's that easy, but it does help when you get on these runs and you get on these teams, you can just ride it. And it's not even a handicap. It's just bet it. And you just get rolling with it. And, the teams play 3 times a week. So you've got 3 bets, per team baked in. So if you go 2 and 1 every week betting this, you're going to be profitable every which way. So like, that's how, if you're looking at from a betting perspective, trying to figure out like what's the best way to bet hockey, these trends tend to play out with hockey. And it doesn't matter the goaltender. It doesn't matter the referees. It doesn't matter if it's home or road. Like it just gets cooking. So it works. Do you know what's the opposite of that, Sonic? Is college basketball. Trend betting in college basketball doesn't work. It doesn't work. And it's why I've struggled in college basketball the last couple of years. I've become so much more of a trend better over the last couple of seasons. College hoops does not follow that. College hoops is still very much an X's and O's, day by day, game by game, coach versus coach breakdown. Like college basketball this coming winter, I've been betting an NBA and done really well betting NBA. College basketball is not easy, man. College basketball has been really, really tough. And you have to take a look at, there's a lot of data that you have to sift through when it comes to college basketball betting. Last 2 years, I love betting college basketball. I have not done well in college basketball, and it has coincided with me doing very well in the NBA. So, it's kind of a weird mix. I can't get them both right, but I can't wait for college basketball. Like, let's go. College hoops is so much fun, but I've become more of an NBA fan and I've watched more NBA basketball because I've been betting more NBA and I've been more profitable betting NBA. And thus my college time, I still have enough time to do everything I need to do for college. All right, let's talk about week 9 betting trends. Evan Abrams and the Action Network. It's week 9 primer. There's some really interesting numbers coming up and you guys, if you've been betting, you know this. Blowout City. All 11 favorites last week covered the spread of 7 or more points. That's the most in a single week in the last 30 years. Favorites didn't just win. They won by more than a touchdown. They destroyed. The books got destroyed. Favorites were, blowouts all over the place. In the last 14 weeks of the regular season, favorites have gone 155 and 58 and 1 straight up. That is 72 or 73%. Winning by over a touchdown, 7.4 points per game. That is insane. Favorites of 6 points or more are 68 and 10, 68, 10 and 1. And favorites of 8 points or more are 26 and 1 straight up. Look, I don't like parlaying, okay? I don't preach it. I don't think it's smart. But when you see that number and you see that stat, how in the hell are we not just doing blind money line parlays on big favorites every week. Just straight, blind, money line favorite parlays across the board. I mean, it literally is automatic. It literally is 26-1. If you have a spread of 8 points or more, 26-1. If you have a spread of 6 points or more, it's 68-10-1. Now, again, you only need one loss to kill your parlay, but my God, the NFL right now, professionals have to kind of reassess everything because look, the pros love taking points. I mean, I know professionals in Vegas that do not lay points in the NFL. Like, well, I'm not laying points. I'm taking either I bet the dog or I bet nothing. It has not worked. Favorites aren't just covering, or aren't just, they're winning and they're covering on top of that. 3, 4, 5 point favorites. Unbelievable. And yes, you're absolutely right, Chef Benny. Chef Rainmaker, until the Jets kill you. Yes, of course. But that line was what, 5.5? Right? That didn't factor into this stat. That number closed at 5.5 for the Bengals. So that's not 6, right? 6 point favorites, 6 or more, 68-10-1. Okay? 68-10-1. Favorites of 8 points or more are 26-1. The Jets were 5.5 point dogs. So that doesn't factor into this. So you would leave the Bengals off this. This is the closing number now, right? So this is like 5 minutes before kickoff at 12:55 Eastern time. You're opening up your app and you're putting together a, favorite parlay, multiple favorite parlays. I wouldn't do more than 3 legs. I don't like 2 legs, but you got to probably do 3 legs to get any real, even close to juice you can lay, because the books aren't stupid. Books know this. So they're jacking up all the cost. I'll do this really fast while we're here. Let's do 8 points or more. Let's see how many different games we can do here. Okay, so we've got the Packers is minus 1,200 at laying 13.5 points. The Chargers are laying 8.5. They're minus 460. You have the Vikings. The Lions are minus 510. They're laying 8.5. The Rams are 1150. They're laying 14.5. And the Broncos are laying 9.5 against the Raiders. So that is that's next week, right? That's next Thursday. Sorry. So we can't do that. So because the Cowboys Cardinals game, that's Monday night for Cowboys Cardinals. So we've got this is a 4-leg money line parlay. Packers, Chargers, Lions, Rams. I'll let you guys guess in the chat. What's the juice? 4-leg money line parlay for those favorites. What's the juice? I'm using FanDuel's lines. Rams, Lions, Chargers, Packers. What's the juice? Guess. It's disgusting. I'm using it on FanDuel for right now. Just free plug for FanDuel. Not that high. Not 240. Nowhere near plus money, Eron Sean. Close, Cole. That's close. Not even money. You're paying juice on a 4-leg money line parlay. 110, getting warmer. 250, no, not that heavy. Minus 178, not that expensive. 130 and 150 will split the difference. It's 140. Minus 140. 4-leg money line parlay in the NFL is going to pay you. You're laying juice on a 4-leg money line parlay. So don't tell me that the books aren't aware of this stuff. The books know what people are betting and they're playing defense. I mean, there's some stupid money line prices. I mean, the Rams, $12. I mean, what? I mean, on the road, $5. The Chargers against the Titans is a $5. It's a $12 number for the Packers up against the Panthers. The books are well aware of what's going on. So this is no big surprise as to where we are. But how could you not be betting that? That parlay this week, you have to bet that. It's only minus 140. Okay. If we lose, we lose. But you have to bet that. If you're a totals better, this could be the first week since 2021 with 5 games are 50 or more points from a total perspective. The Ravens and the Dolphins on Thursday night is 50.5, which is an unbelievable number. Bears and the Bengals is 50.5. The Colts and the Steelers is 50.5. And then Chiefs Bills is 52.5. The Cardinals and the Cowboys is 53.5. And by the way, we got a bunch of games at 48.5 that might get there, that could get to 50. That's possible. So 48.5. The Giants and the Niners is 48.5. The Vikings and the Lions is 48.5. How does that game not go over, by the way? How is the Vikings and the Lions not an overplay? That should be automatic. Like, what are we doing with that? That's pretty wild. But we could have 7 games potentially with totals of 50 or more. It is point season right now in the NFL. Couple of the numbers. How about Drake May? 2,026 passing yards with a 75% completion percentage through 8 games. Only one quarterback has done that in the history of the NFL. That'd be Drew Brees. That's it. And you know what Drew Brees was great at? Throwing the deep ball. How about Drake May? This is stupid. I don't know if you guys can see this, but this is 30 best QB seasons for downfield throws of 10 yards or more in the air. That guy who's all the way up at the top, that's Drake May. In the 30 best seasons throwing the ball down the field. Now, this is from 2006, so it says all time, but really it's the last 20 years. But that coincides with Tom Brady, by the way, who's down there in that gobbledygook of people. Drake May is up there by himself, currently having the greatest downfield passing season of all time, which is 2006. This says 1999 to 2025, minimum of 75 attempts, but they didn't really start ranking this till 2005, I guess, is where they started really tracking this. But regardless, in the last 20 years even, look what Drake May is doing. Numbers are absolutely preposterous when this guy's throwing the football down the field. It's just crazy. Since 2020, Josh Allen has closed as a home underdog 5 times in the regular season and the playoffs. In those games, the Bills are 4-1 straight up and 4-1 against the spread, with the loss coming to the Chiefs. God, this is so interesting, right? Manning had to get past Brady. Manning had to get past the Colts, had to get past the Patriots, and they finally did, and they finally were able to, get to where Manning thought the Colts were going to be able to get to. But you look at what happened, and fine, he went to Denver and did big things in Denver, but this is such a big game. This is such a big bugaboo for Josh Allen to get past the Chiefs. Can he go and win this game? Can he get past the Chiefs? I don't know. I don't know if Josh Allen can do it, but that it's always like that one. The Bills are 4-0 except for the Chiefs. The Bills win all except for the Chiefs. Got to get past the Chiefs this weekend. And finally, Mike McDaniel has coached 5 career games in which the Dolphins are underdogs on short rest, which is what's happening on a Thursday night after their their win on Sunday against the Falcons. The Dolphins turn around and now have to go play the Ravens. The Dolphins are 0-5 straight up, and they've allowed 29.2 points per game in those short weeks. If you are going to back the Dolphins on Thursday, tip of the cap and best of luck to you. They're at home, so maybe they play hard, but the Ravens, they've got 5 straight weeks of extremely winnable football games, and it starts on Thursday, and they get a win with Snoop Hutley going ahead in the whole Lamar Jackson. Is he going to play? He's not going to play. That whole fiasco. The NFL is going to sift through that and figure out how that's going to go. But my God, they win on Sunday. They are going to turn around, go on the road to Miami. They got to get a W. They need it desperately. I think they'll get it. I think they'll get the win. But Mike McDaniel has not been good on short weeks. So if nothing less, it's a money line parlay piece to take the Ravens on Thursday night to get a W against the Miami Dolphins. Yeah, you could probably do that, Dave. Yeah, you could add it. It's 7. It's on the +6 side. So yeah, you could add to the parlay if you want. You could add, let's see what happens. If you add the Ravens to that parlay, it's now plus money, plus 109. A 5-leg money line parlay is plus 109. That's disgusting. That is absolutely disgusting on that. Yikes. Yeah, they're 2-5 and favored to win the North, as they should be, because their schedule is a complete joke. They're playing cream puffs the next 5 weeks, and they should be 6-5. It'll be somewhat surprising if they're not 7-5, given the next 5 opponents that they've got going on right now. If you guys are watching live on YouTube, X, or on Twitter or listening, don't move. We got more to come. If you're on the replay side of it on Sports Grid Television, thank you for being here. We appreciate it. We're back tomorrow on a Thursday, same place, same time. Bet Chris, Arizona Thursday with Adam Bjorn. The rest of you guys get bonus time now. Oh, Alan, good idea. 5 round robin. Let's see. If you do the round robin by 4s and 5s, it can be a little expensive, but if you do the 4s and 5s, God, if you do a $10 bet on 4s and 5s on that round robin, you're going to win $40. Now, if you hit them all, fine, but that's you go 4 and 1 on that, and you're going to wind up winning. Oh my God, that's amazing. That's $10 wins you $40. It's a 4-to-1 return if you hit them all. If you go 5-0 on that, with that, yeah, just take the plus 109. Just parlay it by 2s. You do it by 2s. Yeah, it's a 347. If you do it by 3s, it's 56. That's a plus 560 by 3s. And then by 4s, why isn't that more by 4s? It's only $40 on that by 4 by 5s. Round robin's not bad. I don't hate that. I do like round robin betting. That's not a horrible way of betting with round robins on that. So yeah, jump in on that. Do a round robin with plus monies. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can get round robin with plus money. I don't hate that at all. You can't do round. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, you're not going to make that much money on round robin. That's a good point. Do I like them? Yeah, ish. I like round robins a lot. I mean, I believe in round robins when you're doing a 4-leg parlay or more. I mean, I would much rather, based on the price, right? Depending on the prices of it, it just can get expensive depending on what you're doing. You're doing 2s, 3s, or 4s, or I guess it would be 2s and 3s. If you do a 4-leg parlay, it would be 2s and 3s. I just think it gets expensive. So it's just a matter of how much money you want to commit. But again, look what given the stats that we just laid out, how could you not do a round robin there? Because, okay, one team burns you, right? That's fine. Let one team burn you. You're still going to win the round robin. So I think so the round robin bet of the week would be Packers, Chargers, Lions, Rams, Ravens. 5-leg round robin. Choose as to what do you want to do it by 2s, by 3s, or by 4s. But okay, by 4, do a 4-leg money line, do a 4 and 1. Do it by 4s. I like that. 4 a round robin on that. Sure. It's just a different way of doing it, but I think it's an interesting way of doing it. Just spinning around. Dumb question. What's a round robin? I mean, a red robin. No, it's round robin. It basically means if I have a 5-leg parlay, I can win 4. I can win 4. I can go 4 and 1 and I can win. And the payout is based upon who wins. So that's how much you're going to get paid out. So you want the longer shot, obviously, to win. You want the shorter favorite to lose on that. So Cole has a general betting question. Do you ever change the side of your unit? I don't mean only betting half a unit on teaser parlays. It means changing the number of your unit size in general. Yeah. Okay. So my advice, Cole, on this has always been, you have to reassess your bankroll every quarter. I do it by the quarter. Okay. So let's just say for shits and giggles, let's just go with $1,000. Okay. So your bankroll is $1,000. So if you're doing what I think you should be doing, which is basically a 3 to 5% unit size. Okay. If you have $1,000 bankroll, 3 to 5%, it's generally about $50. Okay. So let's just say $50 is your unit size. So you're betting $50 per game. Well, let's say you're up, right? Let's say you have a really good quarter. Now, all of a sudden you're up 15, your bankroll is $1,500. Okay. Well, now you should absolutely adjust your unit size. It should stay 3 to 5%, but you adjust it by raising it up. On the same, if your bankroll is now $500, You do the same thing. You're now lowering the unit size. And so it's all based upon what your bankroll is, depending on how much money you're going to put into play. And if you don't have a bankroll, I really would recommend you do. And that's basically money that's already spent. So like, I don't know, you trip and fall into $1,000, or you trip and fall into $5,000, whatever it might be. But that's money that you should be setting aside, that if you lose every single dollar, you lose it all, your life changes zero. And I mean zero. There is nothing, okay? Nothing changes if you lose every dollar, okay? You should only be betting with expendable income. You should only be betting with money that doesn't work, okay? That is gone, okay, on that. So how would I rank it? Straight bets, round robins, then parlays? I think parlays suck, okay? I think two-leg teasers are parlays. That's the only really thing I do. I do two-leg teasers every single week. People call me square. People say whatever you want. You think 3 to 5% is high, Rain? Really? Okay, so maybe do 1 to 2. I mean, it just depends what your bankroll is. Your bankroll is $10,000, and okay, yeah, fine. I would 3 to 5% is high, but I'm going off of $1,000. If your bankroll is $1,000, I think you 3 to 5%. You know, I'll just to keep with the gag where Matt doesn't know math. We'll do $1,000. We'll do the math right here. Okay, $1,000. Okay, $1,000. Oh, sorry. Hey, let's go ahead and make sure that goes back on. $1,000. Okay, times 0.03. Okay, that's $30. Okay, 5% is $50. Okay, so it's $50 for $1,000. That generally is what I think you should. So, but if your bankroll is $10,000, okay, and you're going to have it be 0.05%, now it's $500 a unit. Okay. So yeah, that's more expensive. That's definitely more expensive. So it depends on what your bankroll is. That's why I think the math works for 3 to 5%. I mean, if you have a $1,000 bankroll, right? If you have $1,000 bankroll and you're going to only be betting, 0.01%, that's $10. Okay. You can play for a long time on that. I don't think that that's horrible. I just don't think you're really going to be, the swings aren't going to be as dramatic for you. Okay. And again, anyone amounts of money, $5, $1, whatever it might be. I don't care what it may be, a lot of money to you. So I don't care if you commit any dollars. I'm not unit shaming by any means. Okay. $10, $30, $50, whatever really makes sense for you. But again, it's all about risk management. How committed do you want to be? How careful are you? I think 3 to 5%. And if you want to go 3% and have it be a $30 unit size, I think that's great. That's a good solid, but it should be consistent though. Okay. It should be consistent because then you can track it. Then you can, and I don't look, there's a million different apps out there that will track your betting. Okay. That will track the bets for you. Their Betting Pros is who I work for. And I'm not, this is obviously I have a vested interest in what Betting Pros does because I'm paid by them, but I can tell you this, Betting Pros does not sell the data from the pick tracking to anyone. And so when I started working full time for them and they asked me to start pushing their bet tracking as being a benefit to the Betting Pros app, I asked them I literally went to them and said, okay, I'm not okay with this if you guys sell the information. And they said, it's in our terms of conditions. We don't sell the information to anyone. We don't sell anyone on this. Because to me, and I know that does happen in other places, other pick tracking apps do sell your data. And that was a huge deal with me with Betting Pros. So they don't. So if you're looking for a pick tracker that doesn't sell your data, I can't speak for anybody else, but I know for a fact it happens to others. I can't tell you exactly who, but others do it. Betting Pros does not. They don't sell your data. So they're pick tracking. And you can line it up, if you're in New Hampshire, Massachusetts, if you're in legal states, Ohio, Illinois, the bigger states with the bigger books, New York, New Jersey, when you have a lot of books, syncing your books to it so you can track it is a decent way of keeping track of your bankroll and keeping track of what you're betting on and what you're good at and what you're not good at. Anthony, this is none of your business. Okay. This is the one thing we don't do. We don't ask about unit size and we don't ask about bankroll. Okay. Yep. Yeah. In Sonic, you should be paranoid about linking your account 100%. You should no. You are not a nerd for being overly worried. You should be overly worried. You should 100%. If you're allowing someone access to what you are betting, okay. And I will say this, okay. At the same breath where I'm telling you that Betting Pros doesn't sell their data, Betting Pros does take all the bets that are made through the app, and they aggregate it and they report it to the users. So like if 100 bets are made on one game, if 55 are on one team and 45 are on the other, it reports that to the other users as to what Betting Pros users are betting on. It doesn't say how much money. It says the amount of money as to like how much, like 85% of the money. It gives you a percentage as to what side it's on. I don't like that we do that. I've told them that I don't like that. I've said, I don't think we should report that because I think it's not accurate. I don't think it matters for that matter. Who cares what anybody else is betting? Because that can, like, the fading of people, who gives a shit? Like fading the public, who gives a shit? Like, bet what you want to bet. Forget what somebody else is doing. Bet what you want to bet on. What do you like? What do you like for the game? What do you see? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Zero, none, zip. I don't understand. Like, I don't know. Rain, I agree. Okay. That betting teasers is not, I don't tease college. I do tease the NFL. Pros bet teasers. Yes. I don't look, I'm such a, I'm such a disciple of Dave. I'm such a student of what Dave used to preach because it is so true. It doesn't fucking matter. Like, who is sharp and who is not, who is square and who is not, who gets this label, how much money do you have to bet to be considered a sharp gambler? Who gets this? It's all a bunch of bullshit. It is all such garbage. And it's such a male, egotistical lunchroom in high school, who's wearing the varsity letter jacket nonsense from a bunch of guys who got picked on in high school, who couldn't get a date if they could spell the word date in high school, are now out here telling everyone how great they are and how wonderful they are and why you aren't a real gambler and you aren't a real person. It's complete and total garbage. And so, like, I just remember, like, so many times in the beginning part of the juice, when I would talk to Dave about people that would come at me and like people who were like, involved in the gambling space that would say stuff to Dave about me. And he would just be like, I took their bets, Matt. Like I took their bets. Like these guys, just because you put $1,000 down on a game, when you lose, does that make you more of a gambler because you had $1,000 to blow and that you lost that bet? Like, does that make you a more, legitimate gambler just because you lose? like what he used to always say, tell me where I go to get my sharp card. Like, where do I go to get that degree? Like, where do I walk into and say, stamp the card here, please. I'm now the official, whatever, I'm this, I'm that. It's such garbage. It's just absolute trash. It's completely and totally trash on so many things. With that said, let's make some bets. All right, just the picks. We have been now sponsored by our friends. Speaking of Betting Bros, their prop bet cheat sheet. If you guys don't know what the prop bet cheat sheet, this is essentially an algorithm-based, AI-based formula that has been ridiculously successful. And it's been successful because of unders. You guys can go check it out by downloading the Betting Pros app. You can head over to bettingpros.com/props. It is great for the NFL, but it's really good for the NBA. 4 and 5 star unders. Get this. They ran some numbers last night for me for the prop bet cheat sheet. 4 and 5 star unders that were recommended last year in the NBA were up. Let me just hold on. I'm going to quote this properly so I don't misspeak on this. 4 and 5 star under plays were up nearly 700 units on just under 30,000 bets. Now, granted, that's ridiculous, but just give you an idea. 56% hit rate. If you drop the odds to minus 240 or better, okay, that then comes down. Those most of the odds. If you drop it down to minus 140, It's still up 629 units with a 2.5% ROI. If you drop it down to minus 110, it's still up 509 units with a 4.59 percentage for ROI. So if you like betting unders or you don't know which unders to bet, the prop bet cheat sheet's pretty good for that. Check it out at bettingpros.com to go ahead and check it out on that. Yeah, the rhombus and parallelograms. That's your favorite? Yeah, Dave had a lot of good ones. He had a lot of good ones. So you can just check it out. The Betting Pros prop bet cheat sheet by going and downloading the Betting Pros app, or you guys can go to bettingpros.com/props to check out the Betting Pros prop bet cheat sheet. Okay, for me today, I'm taking a look at the run line for the Dodgers. The Dodgers, I think, are going to win this game pretty big with Blake Snell. I think Blake Snell is going to be outstanding tonight. Blake Snell was not good in game one. He's back at home. He was not great on the road this year. Had an ERA around 4 on the road. He has a sub-2 ERA at home. He's a lefty against this lineup at home at Dodger Stadium. Give me the Dodgers to win. I think the Dodgers win relatively big here. It's minus 102. It's even money. I'm not laying $2. I think if you're going to bet the Dodgers, I think you go ahead and bet them on the run line tonight. If you want a prop bet, Varsho, hit, run, RBI. I'm here in New Hampshire, so I can bet at DraftKings, and this is a DraftKings number that, let's see, this number moved. This number, I bet it this morning at about 7:30 this morning, and it has moved tremendously on this game here for tonight. Let's see from a price perspective, because I think I laid like 145 on this for tonight. Let's see where the number is now for this game. Batting props. We're doing over under hits RBIs for Varsho, and that number now is 159. So we're up about 15 cents. So what a move here on this dude. But I think he hit a home run in game one off of Blake Snell. All I need is a hit, a run, or an RBI over a half, and we get there. Varsho, hit, run, RBI. An example for the prop bet cheat sheet from an under perspective, Julius Randle, under 31.5 points and assists tonight for the T-Wolves at home against the Lakers. I think if you look at, he's 3-1 to the over for his numbers so far this year, but 2-2 to this number at 31.5. He already played the Lakers once. It went over this number of 31.5. I would expect a better performance defensively coming in here for that. So we're going Randall under 31.5 points and assists tonight in the NBA. And then in the NHL, we're going Toronto and Columbus over 1.5 goals in the first period. Toronto has scored 11 goals in the first period so far. That's tied for the tops in hockey. They also have only had one first period so far this year in which they have shut out their opponent. So they score in the first and they give up goals in the first. Let's get a 1-1 after 1 for Toronto and Columbus. It was about minus 140 when I bet it this morning. Toronto, Columbus, minus 140, minus 145, somewhere in that range for the NHL. Let's talk about some pretty big news to the state directly to the south of me in Massachusetts. All right, news of the industry. A federal court has decided to send the case from Kalshi against the state of Massachusetts must be heard in state court, not federal court. This decision appears to give Massachusetts a major advantage in its attempt to force Kalshi to stop offering sport event contracts in the state of Massachusetts. The big news on this, it cannot be appealed. No matter what Kalshi, they can't do anything on that. Federal court, no more for this Kalshi case. Instead, it goes back to Massachusetts State Court, which is really bad news because this is where Massachusetts wanted to have this available. And there are numerous other states who are watching this. Again, Nevada, as of next Monday, Nevada will stop allowing stop allowing companies for offering prediction markets and sport contracts in the state of Nevada. This is another loss here for Kalshi as the court cases are starting to stack up here and starting to be more and more of a problem here coming up for them. Where does it go from here? Well, the court case has to come in here, but this going to a state court is bad news. Is bad news for Kalshi. We'll watch it, obviously, but This has been a series of bad rulings against Kalshi over the last couple of months. It happened in Maryland, it happened in Nevada, and now it's happening in Massachusetts, where the court cases are starting to become a real big problem for Kalshi. We'll see how it all plays out. But as of right now, not good. Not good for Kalshi at all. Nope. They're going to lose. Yes. I think that's where everybody assumes that to be the case. And I think that's the case, that they're going to lose, that this will be another state. And then we'll see the domino effect, right? State, more and more states. Once we see all these court cases come down, we'll see more and more states kind of fall in line here coming up on that. So, yeah, not good news for Kalshi. Time for favorite thing about today. Well, for me, that the show got done because I was a little concerned and the show looked okay. We're going to fix the camera. The camera will be better tomorrow. So we'll have a much better camera tomorrow. But when I opened up the bag today and realized, oh my gosh, I forgot the camera. I thought I might be in trouble. And I was like, all right, let's see what the camera on the computer looks like. So this is a computer screen. This is not a computer camera. This is not a webcam, if you will. It's an HD camera, but it's not anywhere near what we'll have tomorrow. So we'll fix the camera. I'll head down to Best Buy in a couple of minutes, go get the camera, and then be back for tomorrow on a Bet Chris Arizona Thursday. Where in the world will Adam Bjorn be? Go ahead and put it on the Discord channel where you think Adam Bjorn is going to be tomorrow. I have no idea. I don't know what country. I don't know what continent. I have no clue where he will be. But put it in there, and if you get it right, I'll get you a hat. All right. I'll make you a BVB hat and I'll send it to you personally. I'll go to Lids. I'll get it made. I am still efforting to get things together. Corbin hit me up. Corbin has started a new job. We're trying to connect and to come up with an idea, but Corbin very well may be back heavily involved with us when it comes to the production of the BVB hats and BVB t-shirts. So I'm not forgotten about that. So if you guys know, put it on the Discord channel to get there, thebvbshow.com. Click the link, head over to our Discord channel. The Brigade chat is where we all hang out. Go ahead and put it in there. If you were right on the country, and I mean exactly right on the country, I will go ahead and pick. If it's multiple people, be the first ones to predict it, timestamp it. And then I'll go ahead and if you were right, we'll go ahead and I'll get you a BVB hat. I'll send it to you. But more information coming on the hats. Tomorrow, Bet Chris Arizona Thursday with Adam Bjorn. Hope to see you guys all back here tomorrow, 1 o'clock Eastern time for a Thursday episode of the Bostonian versus the Book.